Now, I mentioned before that Facebook does have some rules, okay? And that affects our ads. So there are some things that, it's just not going to approve. But for the most part, you're going to be able to use ads for just about anything, okay? I'll go over the do not list on the next slide. But for those of you that have an online business, if your traffic is, if you want to drive traffic and get sales to your website, Facebook's going to help you out with that, okay? If the ads are well created, then they're going to send traffic to you. It's as simple as that. So the ball is in your court from that standpoint. Your sales page, your landing page needs to do its job. Facebook will get you the traffic. If you've got a brick and mortar business, maybe you got a small shop, it doesn't do directly online sales, so to speak, you can still benefit from Facebook ads because you've got the potential there for geographically targeting and interest-based targeting. And that gives you a whole lot of options even with a brick and mortar business. You could use Facebook to promote your company's website. Maybe generate some walk-in sales, right? Advertise about your services. You can start, maybe online business is an opportunity for you and you just haven't done it yet. Maybe what you sell is, you got the brick and mortar shop and you sell products that you could market online, but you haven't expanded to that. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to kind of catapult yourself up to that level. Affiliate marketers, you're going to like this. Facebook is very friendly to affiliate marketers. Google, But as long as the products that you're pushing fall within Facebook's little box that it puts products in, there's no problems. Okay, you can promote products and services. And really, as an affiliate, Facebook is ideal because you can get yourself into a lot of niches. You can have products that are in a variety of niches. Organizations. Maybe you want to talk about your mission, causes, maybe you're doing a fundraiser, stuff like that. This is a great place because, again, it's community oriented. If you're you raise money for breast cancer, right, and you have a breast cancer awareness Facebook page, people that have had some kind of experience with that, maybe they've had cancer themselves, maybe their mother died or something from that, and they're interested in that and they want to help and support it. You can get a lot of friends that way, and then when you do have that fundraiser, bam, you talk about it. All your friends are there, they see it, they talk about it to their friends, and it grows out and can become viral. Politicians. Yep, I know we love them and we hate them, don't we? But you need to do some campaign work. This is a great way to hit the users in your area geographically. Again, we can focus this down pretty sound. Artists, maybe bands, celebrities, people that just do some kind of performing art kind of thing. All these people use Facebook to talk about what they're doing currently, what they're going to be doing in the future. Maybe you cut a new album and you want to tell everybody about it. This is a great way to do it. Like I mentioned, in a band that I'm in, created a Facebook page specifically for that band. Get local friends, and what do? Tell them, hey, we're going to be over at this place this Saturday. Come see us. Give them the date, all that kind of stuff. Now, the don't list. You do not want to use Facebook if you promote tobacco products. Remember, Facebook is very user-oriented, okay? So they want only the best for their members, and they're going to be very careful about advertising. Okay? If you promote pornographic material, don't even consider it. Anything alcohol-related. If your ads are misleading and hypey, how about that one? That cut out a whole bunch of internet marketers right there. You can't do it. And they're going to, they reserve the right to check your ad out and say, you know what? That is a whole bunch of hype. Bam, you're gone. If you promote illegal products, you cannot use Facebook. If your products are scams, if it gets reported that this product does not do what it says and it is just a bogus product, they're not going to allow it. So if you fall into any of these categories, I'm not talking about getting your ad pulled. I'm talking about you will be banned. As in, I'm sorry, you can't advertise with us anymore. So you want to be very careful that if one of your products falls into these categories for whatever reason, don't use that to promote on Facebook. Now, you can use your other legitimate businesses, but you do not want to promote those products or services here. All right, in the next video, we are going to talk about the Facebook ad model. From a strictly business standpoint here, there's a couple of things that I want to go over because you might be inclined to think, if you haven't done a lot of advertising before, or if you've just tried to do the AdWords thing and you didn't really put a lot of thought into it, you probably had pretty mediocre results, and that's probably what you're going to get on Facebook if you don't step back and really think about this, okay? So it's not that just because it's going to cost you less and the ads are going to be targeted better, that doesn't mean every ad that you do, that you create, is going to be an instant success and make you tons of money. You could flop it if you just approach it from, man, I need an ad, and throw something up there and get going with it. Okay, you want to do this really well, you want to make a lot of money, you need to take a little bit of time and construct your ad appropriately, and everything else that's in the whole sales funnel, your landing page and all that. Let's talk about, first off, what kinds of achievements, what kind of results are you expecting to get? One of the things that you need to think about, really when you're ready to launch any kind of advertising campaign, especially on Facebook though, you want to have some goals set. You want to have some, things that you have written down, defined parameters, if you want to call it, something that you can measure or gauge your results by. Because if you just go in there shooting blindly, you don't know, wow, I had a good campaign, or this is a bad campaign, or anything like that. You want to set something in there before you ever even start, and you need to set something very realistic, and you need to have it down in writing, basically. Like, for example, I want to get a conversion rate of 1.5%. Okay, every 100 people that see my ad, I want to get at least 1.5 clicks. That way you have something to try to attain, and you've got something to measure, so that when you make a change later on, you'll be able to say, okay, I made this better now than the last one. So what is the purpose of your campaign in the first place? And I know you're thinking, man, dude, the purpose is that I make money. No, okay, that's not it. You have to be much more specific. You have to think about what it is that you're specifically trying to get and trying to get people to do. What's the purpose of your ad? Write that down. Is the purpose to get them to support my campaign? If I'm a politician or something, is the purpose to get them to just join my newsletter? Is the purpose to make a sale? I mean, think about this for a minute. Let's say you've got a landing page with an opt-in box, and then you've got a sales page. And what you want to do is send traffic to the landing page, and then you want to send them, after they opt in, to the sales page. Well, on the landing page, you're not trying to sell the product. On the landing page, you want to sell that opt-in. So if that's the real desired result on the landing page, then your ad needs to be tailored to that. Your ad does not try to sell the product either. Your ad needs to sell that opt-in. kind of like a pre-sale. So your ad would get them to click, and they come to that page where they have the opportunity to opt in, and everything is focused on get the opt-in. Then after they opt in, then you start marketing to them and try to sell them the product. But the point is, you have to have a clear understanding of what is the purpose of this campaign. What am I trying to get? What are the results that I want also? If I want to get 100 new people to opt in every single day, or do I want to get 1,000 people to sign up for my newsletter every week? Okay, but either way, you got to set realistic expectations. What do you think you can really attain? And let's see what it's going to take to attain that. And then you have something, again, that you can measure by. I set this way too high. I never got even close. Or, man, I blew that out of the water. I doubled my expectations. You need to have a good understanding of what your budget is. How much money are you going to be able to spend in order to get the results that you are looking for, what you expected? Let's say, I want 1,000 new opt-ins this month. Okay. Am I going to be, you kind of get an idea of, let's say that my conversion is 1.5%, and I want to get 1,000. So how many people am I going to have to show that ad to? And how many people from that are going to actually opt in? The number that I'm going to need, how much money am I going to have to spend in order to make that happen? You have to think about this kind of stuff. You got to think about it ahead of time. If I say, man, I want to get 1,000 new opt-ins this month, and I don't think about what is it going to cost to make that happen. If I don't have that money, then that's an unrealistic expectation, and I don't want to do that because I'm going to fall short. Some things that you need to think about. Remember that Facebook is pretty picky about its advertisers, okay, and the things that are going to show up there. You want to make sure you get the results, that you're looking for. You got to have, in mind the money that you're going to be needing to spend in order to generate those kinds of results. And you need to think really through the whole process. You need to think about what it is that you're going to be promoting. If you've only got one thing that you're selling, no problem, right? But if you're an online marketer or you're an affiliate marketer or something, you've got a variety of things that you're going to be promoting. You might want to, pick some bestsellers, things that go over really well. Maybe you're going to launch a campaign that has some new products that you want to start promoting, things like that. So the thing is, you need to understand very clearly in your mind what it is that you're going to be promoting. And, you don't just approach it blindly and say, I need to use Facebook for advertising and I need to promote something. No. Get something picked so that this is what I'm going to do. Maybe you want to use multiple ads. This is something you should definitely think about. You could, technically create a campaign that had different ad variations, and that will allow you to try some different tactics, try some different kinds of ads and see what works and what doesn't work. You can also tweak some of your ads so that maybe one ad appeals to a certain type of person. Use those demographics. Another ad is more tailored towards another group of people. So use those demographics if that kind of marketing, would be beneficial. How long are you going to be running your ad? Do you have super deep pockets and you don't care and you just want to run it indefinitely to do some branding? Or do you want to run it, spend some money, and then see what you get from that? Consider that. Have that as a business plan. Make sure that your landing page is appropriate. They're going to get you clicks, okay? But they're not going to sell stuff for you, okay? Your landing page needs to do its job. Remember, it also needs to fit the rules, the model that Facebook lays out, okay? So nothing hypey. We're going to talk a little bit more about landing pages later on, so we'll get to that. But It's very, very important that your landing page does its job. Spend time and effort making sure that that landing page is there and that it does what it's supposed to do. What you might consider doing is a small test. Check out the landing page, see how well it works, and then you can specify your time frame. So run it for a couple of days, maybe. See how it does. Consider tweaking something on the landing page, and then run that campaign again for a couple more days, and see if you improved something. It's not something you want to just run headlong into and dump a bunch of money. The real marketers that have the biggest return on investment are the ones that test and tweak and test and tweak. Remember that Facebook is very picky about the kinds of ads that are going to show up on the website. So make sure that you know those rules inside and out, and that you make sure that everything in your ad and on your landing page and all that kind of stuff, make sure you follow to the T everything that they have set up. You want to make sure that you set some reasonable expectations. Your campaigns are not always going to be a winner. Okay, they're not always going to do as good as you would hope that they do. Maybe it's a bad headline. Maybe the body of the ad or the image just doesn't grab people's attention. Remember that we've always got, if you're doing what you should, you've always got an opportunity to do some tweaking. Okay. Now, I am not saying set your expectations real low just so that you can hit them. Okay. I know that is a technique that some people use to make themselves feel better, and that's cool, if you want to do that. But I prefer to set something kind of realistic. And if you're brand new in this, that'll be kind of hard to do because you don't know what to expect really. But if you think that you're going to spend $10 and make $10,000 in sales, that's unrealistic. So something that you need to give a little bit of thought to. Do you have any other strategies that would work very well with your Facebook marketing? Like having a fan page, having a page set up so that you can generate friends and get them, in essence, to do a lot of advertising for you. Like we've talked about the organic stuff a little bit, how that a friend liking your page shows their friends, and their friends can check it out, and maybe they become your friends and they like it as well. So definitely be considering some free Facebook traffic. And on your own website, one thing that you can do is you can create a Facebook badge that you can put on your site so that people, when they come there, they see, oh, they're on Facebook, and they can click it and they can come to your Facebook page, and that allows you to possibly, get more friends, more exposure on Facebook based on a relationship that, they might have already checked your website out for some reason or another. Consider split testing with, the same demographics. Like, let's talk about running similar ads, 2 ads to the same exact group. Okay, you can see which ad works the best. And then you can also have ads that are specific for different groups, different demographics, and be testing within those. So I might start out with 1 ad, right? And then I want to target 3 different demographics with a different kind of ad. So I take that 1 ad and I tweak it for those 3 different demographics. Then within those 3 different demographics, I take the ad that is there and I make an ad variation. Right? So now let's say I just do 1 extra one. So I've got really 6 different ads that I'm running for 3 different demographics, and I see which ones work the best. And then when I find that out, I drop the one that doesn't work as well. That way I know that I'm getting the most for my money. Don't forget to tweak things. This is, again, the way that all business owners maximize the return on investment, is by spending the time tweaking. If you think for 1 minute that you can sit down and write an ad, and that's it. It's a winner, and everything's fantastic, and you walk away, and you're going to be rich. I got some huge wake-up call coming to you, because that's not the way it works. That's not the way real marketers do it. You have to run it, tweak it, see which was better, and constantly perfect the system. And with these things in mind, in the next video, let's talk about who is your target. Who are you really trying to reach? To really, be as successful as you can with any type of advertising, one of the things that you need to know is who is your target. Who are you actually trying to reach? There are products that, can appeal to whoever, like toilet paper, right? And there are products that are going to fit a more narrow type of demographic. And in order for you to reap the benefits of Facebook, you need to really understand exactly who it is that you're trying to get your product in front of. Who is that person that uses your product, that this type of individual is who I'm targeting. And it's best, really, if you can do it in such a way that you have in your mind one individual. So you will, if you have a product that your individual is a guy with a mohawk, he's about 24 years old, he's got tattoos all over his body, he's got a leather biker jacket on. If you get it down specifically to that, this is my target. If you can target it like that, then you have a better opportunity of, number one, sculpting your ads to appeal to that individual, and number two, selecting the right demographic information to get your ad in front of the right kind of people. All right, because now that doesn't mean other people don't buy your product. Yeah, sure they do. But when you think, this is my target, this is my customer, you should try to have something in your mind, an actual individual, not necessarily a group of people, an individual. And that individual might be a single mother. She's 34 years old, and you can get as detailed as you want. She's blonde. She's a teacher. She drives, a Camaro, whatever you want, right? But try to, and it's not that you're making it up. You want to try to find out who is your customer, who buys these products. Also consider, are there people out there that would be buying your product as a gift? Is that something that, like if you sell toys and stuff, obviously there's going to be not only parents, but grandparents, uncles and aunts, things like that could possibly be interested in your product. So is that an option? Are you a brick and mortar store? Do you want to do some geographical targeting? Is the product or service that you have available something that could appeal to everyone globally, or is it something where you need to narrow it down? You need to be able to do that, because there's no point in having an ad. If you're selling something, a service, let's say that you only service a 50-mile radius of your actual store, there's no point in having that ad displayed all over the world. Okay, you're going to pay for those clicks. You're not going to use them. Split test demographics with multiple ads. I've mentioned previously the importance of doing some testing. Remember that you have the potential here, the ability to select different demographics and multiple ads within those demographics. It's very important that you consider doing that, because certain kinds of ads will appeal to different age groups. It'll appeal to different genders. Even though you're selling the same product, there's certain things that you can do that will appeal to who you're targeting. So make sure you take advantage of that. You have to have a good understanding, a clear definition of what your market is, who your market is, before you sit down to try to create your ads. It's going to help you focus on, what type of action you're trying to get. It's going to help you make a connection with them. Yeah, this is why it's so important to sit down and do this planning prior to just making an ad. Who am I appealing to? What am I trying to get out of them? What's my desired action? These things are very, very important so that when you sculpt that ad, it matches up even better. And, of course, we're still going to be tweaking the ad. But imagine if you don't sit down and think about this stuff. You don't sit down and consider who it is that you're targeting. And you just create an ad. It's not going to be very effective. Let's talk about budget. We want to go over a little bit of what it takes to get, your ad displayed, because we kind of have to try to factor things in with what it is that we're going to actually be paying. What's actually going on behind the scenes is you're bidding on what you would be willing to pay to get your ad displayed in a certain scenario. Okay, let's say demographics match, all that kind of stuff, and this is where I want to show up, right? Now, there's going to be other people that also want to show up there. So what happens is you put in your bid, and you're either going to do the pay-per-click kind of model where you're paying per click, or you're going to do the CPM model, which is per 1,000 impressions. So if you just want to get your ad displayed, no matter how many clicks, 1,000 impressions, you pay a certain amount of money. Obviously, you don't know how many clicks necessarily you're going to receive. You might get a lot, you might get less, and you pay the same amount. With the pay-per-click model, you're going to pay just when you get a click. So what happens is when a viewer comes to a page to load it, Facebook goes out and it sees who all wants to advertise on that page. And this happens super duper fast, right? And it checks out the amounts, the bid amounts, and the highest bidder is, in a nutshell, the highest bidder is going to win. There's some other factors that we're going to talk about here, but for the most part, the higher bidder, let's say, is going to win. You don't, though, necessarily pay your high bid amount. Let's say you bid 30 cents on something. Somebody else bid 20 cents on something. You're going to pay less than 30 cents because it's going to just bump you up to whatever it takes to beat out the other guy that was bidding 20 cents. Okay, so it doesn't automatically bump you up to your 30 cents. It just does whatever it needs to do to win. Okay. Well, one of the factors that it's going to take into account, though, in addition to that, is past performance. Because it's not just about money. The more successful an ad is, the more likely it's going to be that that ad is going to win other bids for placement there. Okay, that doesn't mean that a new ad is going to not win. Okay, but it's not going to necessarily show up as much. What's going to happen is Facebook is going to look at how often does this ad actually get a click. And Google does the same thing in this respect, because if, let's say you're bidding 30 cents and some other guy's bidding 20 cents, but every time your ad shows up, nobody clicks on it. And, maybe 3 or 4 or 5% of the time, they click on the other guy's ad that's doing 20 cents. Well, Facebook's going to say, okay, I can show this guy and never make any money, or I can show this guy and make that 20 cents pretty frequently. It's going to say, you know what, I want to go with where the money's at. And that's kind of the way that Google operates as well. So your past performance is factored in there. There also is a quality of the ad. That's going to be determined really by the users. The more people that like an ad, the more likely that ad is to win, in a bidding situation. So it's a good idea to create compelling ads and build up a good reputation so that people like the ad. They click that little like button right next to the ad. Your budget is something that you definitely need to keep in mind. But Facebook actually takes that into account as well. If you're, let's say your stated budget needs to be something that is well within your abilities. Okay, it needs to be something that you can afford. but you need to kind of factor out, this is how much money I'm going to spend on advertising this month, and set that dollar amount in your campaign. Are you going to possibly run multiple ads at the same time? Maybe you're going to hit different demographics and you want to have multiple campaigns going. If that's the case, you've got to divide up your budget for every one of those campaigns, right? If you say I'm going to spend $200 this month on advertising, and you're going to run 4 different campaigns, that means $50 a piece. So you need to make sure that you have that entered in there correctly so that your campaign it matches up. And let me give you a little bit of a technical tip here to help you maximize your revenue here. When you first start out with this, you don't know necessarily what ads are going to do well, right? So what you can do is you can lower your bid amounts so your ads aren't going to show up as much. But once you start to get some stats, you'll be able to tell, okay, yeah, this ad is outperforming these other ones. You might not be getting a whole lot of traffic because you're trying to be careful, right, with your money. Well, so all you do then is once you get some good stats there, you can say, okay, this is the ad that works better. Then go ahead and amp up your bid amounts and get your ad out there more. But now you know you're using a more effective ad. So that's a good thing that you would probably want to consider doing. Also, the campaign duration. How long are you going to be doing this? Okay. A lot of times ads, the whole campaign thing, it takes a little while to get rolling and start seeing some revenue, start seeing some profitability. You can start seeing, man, in just a couple of days, I'm seeing sales increase dramatically. Great. But you have to be able to watch that campaign, be willing to tweak some things, and not expect that you're going to be getting instant sales that day. Okay, it may happen, but it may not. Then we want to consider our bid amount. How much is it worth to you to get clicks? As a business owner, whatever you're promoting, you have to understand that there's going to be a point that something is profitable and that beyond that, it becomes unprofitable. Let me give you a little bit of a scenario here, a little example. Let's say you're an affiliate marketer and you're promoting this product. Let's just say it is 16 gigabyte thumb drives, okay? And you will make $5 off of the sale of one of these thumb drives. Well, that's very unlikely because I think you can get these for $20 now, but we'll use that as an example. If you know that out of 100 people that come to your landing page, one person will buy that thumb drive, then you can say, it is worth to me to spend $5 to get 100 clicks. Right? That's like your break-even point. So if I have to spend $4 to get 100 clicks, or in other words, 4 cents a piece, then fantastic. I'm good with that. I'm making some money. Okay, I'm profitable. Well, if I have to spend $6 to get that traffic, not worth it to me because I'm losing money. So there are some things you need to factor in. You have to try to, hopefully you can get some data to estimate at least how much traffic you need to make sales, and if you can tell out of 100 clicks I make $30, then you can run the math and you can decide what it is worth to you to bid on different scenarios to get that traffic. You have to figure that out. You have to calculate it. I can't tell you bid this amount. You have to figure out what it's worth to still be profitable to you. Now we have also bid ranges. Winning bids are selected based not only on the bid amount, but also the quality of the ad and how well that ad has performed in the past, right? Well, Facebook is going to give you suggested bid ranges to kind of help you win the auctions and get a placement in there. the thing is that a lot of times those ranges are going to be a little bit higher than what it would really take to get in there. Okay. Maybe there's going to be a niche that you can get into that doesn't have a whole lot of competition, and you can bid low and still get plenty of placement and not be paying a bunch of money. If you find a niche that is very competitive on Facebook, they're going to give you recommendations, and you might have to go with those recommendations to get placement, and you might even have to bid higher in order to get placement and beat out others. So that's something that just happens. So it doesn't matter necessarily the bidding range that you select. You want to take the time to follow up and take a look at your results. What are you actually achieving? Did you set your bids too low and you need to bump them up? Are they way too high and you could still get placement by lowering them? You have to track that stuff. Take all of this stuff into consideration when you start to think about what you're going to be spending, what you're willing to spend on your advertising on Facebook. In the next video, we'll take a look at some rules and tips. Facebook is very, very strongly leaning towards its users, okay, its community. So it will not bend over backwards to help an advertiser or advertisers in general when that means sacrificing the experience of their users. Now, they are, don't get me wrong, they are advertiser friendly. They're more than happy to help you make some money and get some more traffic. They're not afraid to ban people either. They're not afraid to ban advertisers. They're not afraid to reject ads. But they do want to work with you without compromising their users' experience. Okay, so you have to understand that. Let's talk about some of the basic Facebook rules. There really are a lot of rules. You can read the guidelines that they have for ads, and you can check out all of that stuff. But there's a few things that we really need to have nailed down pretty good. One of those is your destination URLs. The landing page, or where you actually send the traffic when they click that ad. That landing page is very, very important as far as Facebook is concerned. And if you mess up on the landing page, they can get your ad rejected just for that. They'll reject you if they don't like the ad. The URL has to be the actual domain that is in your ad. Okay, you can't do any kind of redirect kind of stuff. You need to send them exactly there. It's got to have, the landing page has to have the information that the ad is talking about. So nothing misleading at all. And they are, they're checking this out. They're not just letting it go and an Autobot checks it out. They're going to check it out. They're not going to tolerate pop-ups, pop-overs, pop-unders, any of that kind of stuff. Mouse trapping, fake closing pages, none of that stuff is allowed. You can request, personal information like emails and names and stuff like that, but only, for the purpose of a legitimate transaction. You're not going to, if you harvest people's emails and sell them, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. References to Facebook. They're a little bit picky about how their name is used, okay? Like, for example, you can say now on Facebook. That's fine. But if you give any inkling whatsoever that Facebook is endorsing your product, then you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. And that goes for the ads and landing pages. The copy in your ads cannot ever be misleading whatsoever. It needs to be very clear, and you can't have any unsubstantiated claims. Otherwise, the ad is going to get rejected by Facebook. You can't threaten, insult, harass people. Autoplay ads, can't have that. And you got to be careful about even the language that you use. You need to use proper language. Facebook also has some types of content in ads that it will ban. If the advertisement seems that it's misleading, deceptive, or just not true, Also, they don't allow profanity. They don't allow slanderous comments, tobacco products, firearms, weapons, that kind of stuff. I think we've already covered that. No scams, no hate speech, and things that are related to that. It's pretty well understood, I think, that kind of stuff. So hopefully your business doesn't have to do with any of that. You've also got to watch your targeting, who you're targeting. They don't allow, for example, alcohol advertisements that target people in countries where the targeted audience is under the legal drinking age. Advertisements about contraceptives and things like that. You can only target 18 and up. So if you think that your, whatever it is that you're promoting is one of those questionable things, then you definitely need to check out, their rules, read up on that, and make sure that everything's going to be okay. Now let's look at some of the standards that Facebook gives us. The good news is they really don't have a lot of fine print. Okay, it's all pretty much above board, but you might want to glance over the requirements and read them so you can just, it might save you a lot of frustration later on. So you have a good idea of what's required and what you can and can't do. So go ahead and, give the requirements a little read. It's not very long, fortunately. First thing you want to do is check out your landing page in great detail. A lot of times, at least most of the time, I do it myself, advertisers create their landing pages before they try to do an ad campaign, right? So what you got to do is make it a point that until you are very familiar with what Facebook is going to allow, you got to make it a point to go back and check out that landing page, make sure that it falls, within the guidelines. Now, after you know these requirements, then the next time you want to create a landing page, you're probably going to be a little bit more careful. And you wouldn't be the first person to create a landing page and then create a different one, specially modified for Facebook, that makes sure that it meets the requirements. Make sure that your ad copy is straightforward, everything. You can't have anything false or misleading. Say who you are, what you're doing, why the user needs to click through and check out your product. Just keep it simple and focused, and you should get approved very quickly. Watch your grammar. Facebook is actually very serious about the proper use of language in its ads. So you need to make sure you don't have any spelling mistakes, use the right sentences and spacing and sentence structure and things like that. Just, as if you were trying to make your English teacher happy. You don't want to do things like capitalize every letter in a word just to emphasize it. They don't like that. And now here's one that is a bit different than Google, the use of symbols. A lot of times we try to use a $sign or something, or a pound or something to draw attention. Don't get cute with your Facebook ads. They just don't like it. Correct targeting. You want to be very careful that you select the desired target audience that ad copy is going to be relevant to and acceptable. Again, you try to target 15-year-olds with contraceptive products and you're going to be in big trouble, okay? As far as the ad's not going to make it. And you might get yourself to the point that they, just ban your account entirely. Make sure you review your account information. Once you've got that ad ready to go, take time to fill out everything else. Make sure all your ducks are in a row there. Payment problems, account information that's not valid, that can hold up your ads. And let's say that you accidentally did a wrong phone number and they try to contact you and it doesn't go through, and they're going to get suspicious. It's going to cause all kinds of problems and headaches. Okay, so just review your information, make sure it's all accurate. Now, let's get a little bit more specific on the landing page itself. Your Advertisement copy is very important, right? Just as important is your landing page, possibly even more, because this is going to impact your ability to gain approval from Facebook. Obviously, the landing page also is going to affect your ability to close sales, to make money, to do what you're trying to do with the traffic in the first place. So, it doesn't matter if you got to balance this. You got to meet Facebook requirements, and you got to be able to sell, whether you're selling an opt-in or selling a product. If you haven't made your landing page yet, or you're going to be reviewing it to make sure that it's qualified for Facebook, double check your copy. Okay? That is essentially an extension of your ad. If your ad talks about children's shoes on sale, then the landing page needs to have children's shoes as its main focus. So keep the ad landing page relationship very relevant. Again, you cannot have any pop-ups. You want a very clean landing page that focuses on one thing, either selling your product or selling somebody else's product as an affiliate. If there are any pop-overs, pop-unders, any of that kind of stuff, they got to come off of there because you're not going to get approved. You might even have to create, a whole new landing page specifically for Facebook that does not feature the pop-ups. Because pop-ups are powerful, okay? Let's just admit that. They do work. So if you're going to use them in your marketing in other aspects, then that means you're just going to have to create another copy of that page without the pop-up and send your Facebook traffic there. You want to make sure that any images that you use on your landing page are appropriate. And I would say use images. You want to create a good user experience, but you don't want to violate any of Facebook's policies. So the things that the kinds of content that Facebook does not approve of, you don't want that on your landing page. Make sure that all your copy on the landing page is very clear and defined as far as what its purpose is. That's better for your Facebook approval, and actually it helps you close sales. If you have 100,000 hits come to your website, but your landing page can't convert that traffic, then it's not really doing you any good. And let's talk a little bit about that, closing the deal with your landing page. You want your pages to be visually appealing. The wording itself is what's going to, sell whatever it is that you're trying to promote. And when I say sell, I'm not necessarily talking about making money. I'm talking about whatever your call to action is on that landing page. If it's to get an opt-in, or if it's to, get somebody to sign up for something, get them to join, get them to buy right there, get them to check something else out. Whatever your call to action is, your words are going to sell that. But the graphics that are on the page, they need to be clean, professional, and support that. They need to lend a helpful hand to creating something that is visually, aesthetically, something that we would like to look at. You don't want to make crazy, wild colors that make people nauseous. You don't want the website to be super busy. You just want a nice, clean, direct, attractive, eye-pleasing type landing page. Something that somebody can come there and it's not going to hurt them to continue looking at your page, right? And believe it or not, I see lots of these on the internet still today. So images and video do sell. If you're going to sell products, your landing page needs to have some very nice, attractive pictures of those products. And if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video is worth 1,000 pictures. So definitely want to consider that. You want your ad to be focused and your landing page to be focused and relevant. One thing that advertisers have tried to do on occasion is have an ad that is somewhat misleading. When people come to the landing page, they find out, wow, this is something totally different, and I'm not sure what to do, and I'm not even sure that I'm interested in this, and I definitely don't know what to do next. The worst thing that you could possibly have is, and you think this is straightforward, right? But the worst thing you could possibly have is where somebody comes to a page and they're like, yeah, I think I need that. What do I do? And they they don't know what to do next. And believe it or not, that does happen. So definitely a defined call to action telling them what to do is something that is critical for your landing page. A lot of times, having less content on a landing page can actually be more effective. So carefully selecting images or videos, carefully selecting the wording that you use, and not cluttering the landing page up and making it very easy to see what it is that I need to do. Making it easy also to digest the landing page. Making it easy to go through it. This is all wrapped up together, not only in making it aesthetically pleasing, but in selecting powerful phrases. Okay, you can say more a lot of times with 5 words than you can say with a paragraph if you don't think it through. So less is more, and keep it simple, right? The KISS scenario, keep it simple, stupid, or something like that. Keep it stupid simple. That's a good one too. You have to kind of balance things out for the lowest common denominator, right? And a lot of times what I find is having a landing page that's all cluttered up with you want to cram everything in there about your product. It usually hurts you, okay? Same thing goes for making wild, outlandish claims. A lot of times that hurts you. If you throw in a bunch of hype and stuff, they're not, most of them aren't going to buy it. Yeah, there are some people in the world that fall for that kind of stuff, but I don't think most of them do. So keep things simple and easy. If you got signups, if you've got order buttons, anything like that, make sure they're very visible above the fold and attractive and right there, and it's pretty obvious what to do with them. Okay? So now that you're kind of up to speed on what Facebook's requirements are and got some ideas of what needs to go into your ad and landing page, in the next video let's talk about the actual anatomy of a Facebook ad.